There are 16 stations on the Victoria Line, and Pimlico, behind me here, famously is the only one that has no connector blob. It isn't connected to anything else on the tube map. So that seems like a good place to be the first station in our new series. So Pimlico Station opened on the 14th of September 1972 on the Victoria Line, and on this new line it was the only totally new station, and on the tube map it has a tick and not a connector blob, as it has no connections with any other stations. Now you may already know that each Victoria Line station has its own bespoke mural on the bench alcoves in the platforms, the design here being a grid of yellow dots which references the nearby Tate Britain. That's mentioned again in the entrance subways which lead into the station, with one of the subways being decorated with artworks that you may have seen at Tate Britain, whilst on another entrance subway there's a plaque for Sir Alan Daughtry, the Chief Executive of Westminster Council, which notes that Pimlico Station was built due to Sir Alan's perseverance. The entrance, by the way, is not step-free, despite all those ramps. They all lead down to a point where there are then these steps down into the ticket hall. There are no lifts at Pimlico. And you can't mention Pimlico, of course, without spotting this Star Trek-style transporter pair of roundels by one of the other entrances. It's just fabulous. Insert your own transporter sound here. And outside the station, here's something which you may have never spotted before. A cooling tower that's been designed by Edoardo Palozzi. You'll know him as the person who designed the tiles at Tottenham Court Road. His design disguises this ventilation shaft for an underground car park with a collection of silver cogs, wheels and chains, and just looks rather brilliant. And this is the closest that Pimlico gets to having a high street with nearby shops including cafes, betting shops and a launderette. On your way back into the station, note the plaque by the staircase that confirms that the station was opened by the Lord Mayor of Westminster, spot the art on the underground labyrinth by the gate line, and then make your way back down to the platforms on the escalator. But I do love the fact that Pimlico is one of the few stations left that has a static staircase in between with handrails too. As an unconnected station, there are just two platforms, but there is this interchange corridor halfway down. And also, at one point on the northbound platform, you can see that there's an area which has no adverts on the wall, because hardly anyone ever walks down this far. Victoria Line trains are very frequent, so frequent that there may not even be enough time to sit down, let alone read an advert. And Pimlico, of course, has these marvellous backlit roundels. The only other place you'll see these on the tube network now is at Heathrow, but the Victoria Line used to be full of them at all the other stations, but only Pimlico now survives. And that is Pimlico, the first in only Unconnect. More to come from other unconnected stations on the tube map.